Riley sat alone in the kitchen, her fifth cup of coffee already cold. It was 3 in the morning, and still Nathan hadn't returned. It wasn't the first time he'd disappeared on a drinking binge, but lately it felt like a constant cycle. Women, Riley mused to herself. Always fretting about husbands coming home late, suspecting infidelity. But not her. Nathan's only affair was with alcohol. With a heavy sigh, she acknowledged her dislike for his excessive drinking, but she felt powerless to stop it. Nathan pinned the blame on her, claiming she was controlling and unwilling to listen. Their differing professions had never been an issue until their children left for college, altering the dynamic of their relationship. Riley had pleaded with Nathan to lay off discussing her profession, often ending in tears. But it seemed he just couldn't help himself. Riley's husband, once a sharp and promising lawyer, had spiraled into heavy drinking. He used to confine his drinking to home or a local bar, but now he'd drink anywhere, any time, without a care. Riley saw the pattern worsening. Her husband had lost faith in himself completely, and nothing seemed to shake him from this slump. When Nathan got drunk, he turned into a raging storm, trying to assert dominance over Riley, but his attempts fell flat, thanks to her profession. Riley knew more than just the basics of self-defense. It pained her deeply to witness the man she loved attempting to harm her. It felt wrong, and she sensed that if it persisted, she'd have no choice but to walk away from the relationship. Despite the years they'd spent together, enduring such treatment wasn't worth it to her. The sound of the key turning in the lock signaled Nathan's arrival home. Riley silently hoped he'd head straight for the living room and crash on the sofa. A routine when he'd had too much to drink. But her wish went unanswered. Instead, he made his way to the kitchen, flicking on the light. Well, he slurred with a drunken grin. Look who's back, our esteemed boss. Are you not tired of this, Nathan? Riley questioned. Tired? How could I be? I'm just having a blast. But you, my dear, you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders with that serious job of yours. You're the boss, and I'm just a simple man, he retorted. Riley winced. She'd never boasted about her work and always tried to support Nathan. It puzzled her how he suddenly saw her as superior, both physically and intellectually. This new attitude baffled her, as Nathan had never shown jealousy or insecurity, even regarding her successful career. She couldn't help but wonder what had triggered this change in him. Riley was determined to unravel the mystery and help Nathan understand that they were equals, regardless of their differences. She grew more convinced that something or someone must have influenced Nathan's new mindset. He'd never been one to compare himself negatively to others. Nathan, enough is enough. You can't keep this up every day. Don't you hate it yourself? Riley questioned. Nathan hiccuped, fumbled with the faucet, spilling water everywhere, then threw the glass and nearly stumbled. Quiet down. The boss is home. He slammed his fist on the table and collapsed to the floor unconscious. Riley fought back tears, leaning over her husband. Listen carefully, she said. If you won't do this the right way, we'll do it another way. She dialed the phone. Vincent, send the car and a few discreet helpers to my place now, Riley instructed. Mrs. Brooks, you got a body there needing disposal? Vincent chuckled. Almost, Vincent. Almost, Riley replied. Nathan was out cold when he was put in the car. Upon waking, he found himself in a hallway facing Riley. What's happening? he asked. She replied nonchalantly, "Nothing much." Riley then told him that she had arranged for him to spend the night in a cell with a group of women who were serving long-term sentences. "By the way," she added, 3 of them murdered their husbands because of their alcohol addiction." "Riley, are you insane?" "Too late, dear. You never listened," she said, turning away, exhausted. The door closed with a clang, and she heard gasps from inside. She thought she didn't care anymore, or at least she tried not to. For 5 years, Riley had led the women's correctional facility with an iron hand wrapped in a velvet glove. Her leadership skills and resolute nature were renowned. She possessed an unyielding character with a clear vision and high standards. She set the bar not just for herself, but for her team as well. Riley's dedication and readiness to make tough calls made her an effective head of the facility. She was known as a leader who tolerated no nonsense, prioritizing the safety and welfare of those under her care above all else. Her unwavering determination had garnered respect from both her staff and the inmates, establishing her as a revered and accomplished figure in her field. Meanwhile, Nathan sobered up a little. Now there was only one thought running through his head. His wife's patience is not limited. "Oh, what a good-looking man they've thrown in here with us," a woman said. "Something must be up with our Riley." They approached him. They were all serving different sentences. "So, who the heck are you? What did you do to annoy our princess so much that she assigned you to us?" one of them asked. Nathan realized that they weren't going to attack him right away, so he smiled slightly. "I'm the husband of your princess." "What? Nah, that can't be true," the women said in disbelief. Nathan reached into his pocket for his driver's license and showed it to them. They shook their, heads, and then returned the license back to him. "What the heck are you doing here, then?" Nathan smiled. "Guess my wife's attempting to fix me. She's got her own way of doing things." One of the inmates looked at him thoughtfully. "My husband also wanted me to shut up about his drinking problem." "And where is he now?" she said, shrugging and sitting down at the table. Nathan looked at her in confusion. He thought that since they didn't attack him, they would all sit together and talk about how bad of a wife Riley was. But the conversation took an unexpected turn. Another woman tugged at his sleeve. "Let's get you a cup of coffee. You look like you've had a rough night. Seems we won't be disturbed until morning so you can unwind." "I'm Phoenix, and this is Lauren," she introduced, gesturing towards the woman seated at the table. "Over there are Kendall and Tanya," she added, indicating 2 more women. "I'm Nathan. Nice to meet you," he said, and sat down at the table with them. They gave him a cup of coffee, which tasted like it wasn't the first time it's been brewed. He took a sip and asked Lauren, "So where is your husband?" "I'm sorry, but..." "You didn't finish your story." Lauren turned to him. "He's gone, and I'm in here. My children are in the children's home." "And what did alcohol have to do with it?" Nathan asked. "Do you really want to know?" "I'll tell you if you're interested," she said. He hesitated, then shrugged. "Okay, if you insist." "My husband," she started. "He started drinking. Couldn't stop, even though we were about to celebrate our 10th anniversary. At first I didn't get it. Then I found out his work buddy was taking him to casinos after hours, the kind with slot machines and free drinks." Her voice cracked. "I begged him, pleaded with him to stop, said it wouldn't end well. He'd just get drunk, yell at me to shut up. I'm the man. I know what I'm doing." That's all he would say. Then he lost big, really big. They came after him, threatened us. He didn't tell me, just drank more to forget. Died from whatever it is too much booze does to you. And then they came. For me, for the kids. Said we owed them the apartment on top of the money. I told them to get lost. One of them, he grabbed my son, said if I didn't cooperate, we were all done for. Something snapped in me, the fear in my boy's eyes. I just grabbed the kitchen knife, went into, I don't even know what to call it. One was on the floor before they knew what hit them. The other one, I got him too out in the hallway. Self-defense? Her voice trailed off. It won't bring my kids back. Nathan sat there, stunned. He'd read stories like this, never thought he'd be next to someone who actually lived it. Silence hung heavy in the cell. Another woman, Annie Gary, broke it with her own tale of hardship. He wanted to say something comforting, but every word felt like a cliché. His desire to drink had faded, replaced by the echo of a young woman's sobs. She started talking about how it wasn't her fault, about her mom dying and her dad's new woman and the debts. Something about being given away to pay for it all, and how, in desperation, Nathan couldn't just sit there. That sounds like self-defense, he burst out. Phoenix gave him an almost amused look. You sound like a lawyer. Thing is, girl like Kendall there, she wouldn't have the money to get one, and the guy she attacked had connections. Frustration gnawed at him. A thought was forming, but he couldn't quite grasp it yet. Kendall, Nathan approached. My name's Nathan. I used to be a lawyer, quit a while back, which was dumb. But can you tell me what happened? Every single detail, names of anyone who might know something about it. I can't promise I can fix it, but I'll try. I swear I'll give it my best shot. Kendall looked at him, startled, then at Phoenix. The older woman seemed to be the one in charge. Phoenix gave Nathan a hard look. You going to keep your word? No false hope for this girl. She's had enough of that already. I said I'd do what I can, Nathan insisted. Meanwhile, Riley felt out of her depth. She messed up bad. Nathan would be furious, might go right back to drinking. For a moment, she thought about ordering him brought to her, but then, no, that wouldn't help. Instead, she called Johnson and a few guards, then headed to the cell. Riley wasn't sure what she'd find there. Maybe those women would attack her on sight. When the door swung open, she froze. The cell was quiet. Nathan sat at a table, the prisoners around him. They were talking, even smiling a little. Nathan turned, saw her. Oh, hey, Riley. He sounded normal, not angry at all. Riley was speechless. This was all wrong. What's going on? She managed to ask. Nathan stood and left the cell, waving goodbye to the women as they wished him luck. Even the guards looked bewildered. This cell was usually the worst. Nathan, are you okay? Riley asked as they hurried down the hallway. Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, we need to get home. I need to clean up. There's someone I need to find. Riley felt lost. Her husband had struggled with drinking for so long, yet here he was, awake, sober, and almost like a stranger. It was a good change, but so sudden it left her dizzy. Hope and confusion tumbled around inside her. She didn't know how this happened, but maybe they had a chance now. She needed to understand what happened in that cell. Nathan, you keep leaving. Is there something you're not telling me? He turned to her. That young woman in your cell, Kendall, I think she shouldn't be there. Her life's been ruined, And it's the stepmother and that man she hurt who belong in prison. I'm sorry I didn't say earlier, but I'm deep into her case file, trying to see if there's any way to help. Riley just stared at him. Then a smile spread across her face. Wow, my Nathan really is back, she said, rushing to hug him tight. I'm sorry, honey, I was such a fool, he said. Thank you for getting me back on track. For 6 long months, Nathan worked. He was obsessed, driven to see justice done. The retrial, when it finally came, was all because of him. He found witnesses, people who could tell the real story. He even tracked down a crooked doctor who'd lied in the first trial. It was hard. There were setbacks, but Nathan wouldn't give up. This trial, it would be different, and he was determined to succeed. The verdict echoed through the courtroom, not guilty. Kendall swayed, tears streaming down her face, too weak to stand. She sank into her chair, the weight of the last few years crushing her. Nathan was beside her in an instant, offering not just legal support, but a hand to hold on to. An older woman rushed into the chaos, her own sobs mirroring Kendall's. "My baby girl," she choked out. It was Kendall's grandmother, drawn there by news she thought too awful to be true. The reunion was a tangle of grief and hope, of years lost, and the promise of a future, however uncertain. Outside the courthouse, Nathan and Riley stood side by side, watching the scene unfold. "I've never been more proud of you," Riley said, her voice thick with emotion. Nathan smiled, but his fatigue was clear. Just then a boy darted up, breathless, shoving an envelope at him. "Delivery!" he shouted, then vanished into the crowd. Inside, a single, neatly written note. "The fireplace table for 2, reserved. In the prison, they respect those who keep their word." Nathan laughed, sound weary but genuine. "Well, Riley, looks like your girls are buying us dinner." He didn't mention the deeper implication that Phoenix and the others knew his fight for Kendall wasn't over. There were darker players behind her suffering, still at large. Nathan tucked the note in his pocket. The walk back to the car was quiet, each of them lost in thought. He glanced at Riley, saw the concern etched on her face, yet in his exhaustion there was an undeniable flicker of something else. Not excitement, but a grim determination. He'd battled his own demons, found a way back from the brink. Now another fight lay ahead. He'd started this seeking redemption for Kendall and for himself. But looking out at the bustling city street, he realized something. This was bigger than both of them. The women in that prison, the countless others unseen. They wouldn't be victims